Okay, so I've done a lot of vacuum cleaner videos in the last 12 months. Go, let's do some damage. Right. Origin cookies test first. That's better. I can see it goes past, but it kind of... Oh, ow, ow, ow. Oh, there we go. Right. Woohoo! Unusually, this Hoover Discovery stands up on its own, which is weird. This brush roller on any surface really. It pushes down. The one that I picked after all of it was this one, which is the Dyson V10 Total Clean. Now, to be honest, it's all about tools really, and price. So I came close to buying a V8 because of the slightly better battery life and the better filter that you get on a V8. But really I had to think about the property and how I was going to use it. So this is a 4-bedroom kind of modern house. It's got, obviously you can see a rug here, but all the flooring is hard floor in this house, apart from the stairs and the landing. So the fluffy head, especially for downstairs, is a much better job. And I've done a different video on the fluffy head which shows why it's so good for hard floors. So you'll be able to click that in the description or at the end of this video. But I had a V6 Total Clean before this, and I was perfectly happy with the V6. But the power is so much more on the V7 and does feel exactly the same as the V8 to use. But my decision was, well, price-wise, on the day I could have bought a V8 Animal and not had this tool, which I really like, or I could buy a V7 and have this tool. Because I never really ran out of battery on my V6 unless I had a lot of extra work to do, I knew that battery life wasn't going to be an issue. So this doesn't get fully depleted, which means that the battery life will last longer over time. So as a machine, it will last longer. Now, it's all well and good thinking about a battery lasting for many, many years, but the reality is that after many, many years, all of these brushes will start to wear down. So I'm not really that worried about, how long the battery is going to last. I mean, I'm sure I'll get a good sort of 5, 6, 7 years out of the battery, by which time all of these tools will be less effective. And actually, if you had to buy all these tools individually, they're much more expensive than buying a new cleaner when there's a deal on. And I would always look for deals when I'm buying those cleaners. So let's go through the tools. I'll move for this bit. Okay, so here's all the tools laid out, and here's what I use them all for. I don't really use this one an awful lot now, basically because I use this for dusting. So yeah, that as a tool I don't use an awful lot. You get that with every Dyson. It is a good tool, it's good brushes, and I always used to use that for dusting on my V6, so that's good. But this dusting tool is really good for dusting. I use it for the TV. Obviously be careful if you're doing a flat screen TV and all around it and in and out of objects and stuff like that. I'm thinking of getting the flexible hose because then it means that this can get into much harder to reach places. This mini turbine tool I use for the car and it's very good for that, and I also use the crevice tool. Actually I do use that a little bit in the car as well. So that's that. Doing in between the wood when I'm going up the stairs, I do this, and in between the appliances and along edges I use that tool, the crevice tool. Obviously this is the body of the machine, obviously the hose is self-explanatory. So I use the fluffy tool downstairs. So I do the rug and the front and rear doormat with the this animal tool or carpet tool. But this tool I use for basically the hallway, the kitchen, the lounge, all hard floors. And the main reason is because this is much further open. As I say, I've got another video just about this fluffy head, so it's worth looking at that if you want any more information on that. But upstairs, I don't bother to take this upstairs. I can't really say why, and I didn't on my V6. Well, I suppose mainly because we don't have any larger objects. We don't have dried cat food or little stones or anything like that, so it's never really an issue. So I do the upstairs bedrooms, a little hair there, the upstairs bedrooms and the bathroom upstairs, the hallway, the study, all of that is done with this tool. So what I'm saying is that you might not need a total clean. If you've got mostly carpet, and your only room is the kitchen that's hard floor, then you're probably all right with the animal. Although I'd still say if it's a very similar deal and you get larger objects in your kitchen, then I would go for the Total Clean or something with the fluffy head. But for me, that's the reason Dyson V7 Total Clean. And differences between the V6, I mean, it is much more powerful. It's got a better battery life, which is great. The emptying is probably one of the best things. Well, I like the fact that you've got switching for power, so low and max is switchable. On the V6, when it used to run out, if it was on max power, when you turned it back on again, it would turn it on max power. And as the battery life was a bit of a premium, that used to be not an issue, but it wasn't as good. So on this, you know that straight away you can switch it between. I almost never use maximum. I actually used maximum yesterday or the day before, because I knocked a glass with a glass bottle I was taking out to the recycling, and it shattered, and I just wanted to make sure everything was up. But in all honesty, the tool grabbed the flooring so much that I had to turn it back to lower power anyway. But I did it on max for a bit because I wanted to make sure every little shard of glass was picked up. But the emptying is so good. That action where it sweeps down, always with the V6, what I would have to do is take off the plastic bin because it would get fluff stuck around it. And so that makes a big difference for me. I usually do it twice. I also tend to close it, whiz it, and then do it once more because I tend to find that gets rid of everything. But it's such an easy action. In some ways, I almost prefer that action to the V10. And the filter, for me, I always felt that it felt like clean air coming out through the filter, so I'm not worried about it not having the extra filter of the V8 and the V10. But I do recognise those as being better battery life, better filtration. But for me, if you watch my YouTube channel, I am thrifty. You know, I go to the dump, I get bikes, I do bikes up, I buy a lot on eBay. I do like to save money, but in some fields, as I've proven with a lot of my videos, a cheap cordless vacuum cleaner isn't going to be doing it in the long run. Not for me. I really like the Dyson. I think the price is a fair price for what it is. My idea for Dyson would be on the V10 to just give a 5-year guarantee, and a 5-year guarantee covering the battery as well. I think for them that would make a big difference, because the V7 and the V8 are such good cleaners. I liken this to like an iPhone. When a new iPhone comes out, I've got an iPhone 7. It's such a good, well, it's recording now. It's such a good model that I don't feel any need to upgrade it. And I feel that's the same with the V7 and the V8. If you've got a V7 or a V8, or if you're thinking of buying one, they're brilliant machines. And yes, the V10 is better, but is that long, you know, the longer lasting battery? If it is important to you, obviously that's key, and the new eject and the way that it takes the debris in straight through, you know, those design features, they're definitely improving. But when it's only a minor improvement and you can save quite a bit of money, I think they need to distinguish it by saying 5-year guarantee on the V10 and covers the battery, because you get a 2-year guarantee on these. You know, my V6 was 2 years old nearly when we sold it to my mother-in-law, and now we've got this one. So anyway, I hope this helps, and if you've got any questions, please ask. I always try to answer them. I'm looking for 1,000 subscribers. I'm nearly there. I'm at about 939 at the moment. So thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.